This is the EasySMX 05X Pro, and it is the best value for money tech purchase that I have ever made. So without any further ado, let's get into the video. I've tried the DualSense Edge, the Xbox Series 2 Elite controller, and the Logitech King Kong 3 Max, and none of those controllers can really compete with this controller. The EasySMX 05X Pro is a budget pro controller that works on PC, Switch, Android, and iOS, and it is every bit as pro as those other controllers, but at 1/10 the cost. You heard that right. You can pick this controller up for as little as 25 Canadian dollars on Amazon. When you compare that to a $250+ controller like the DualSense Edge, it really just doesn't make sense how this can be priced so cheaply. Packed into this Xbox style shell, we get TMR joysticks, full gyro capabilities, we get 2 extra shoulder buttons, the M1 and the M2, as well as this controller operates at a 1000 Hz polling rate, either while wired or using their high-speed dongle. And while using this controller for the past month, whether that be on PC or Switch, it has performed exceptionally well for me. So getting into the features now, pro controllers often flaunt having 2 or 4 back paddles to give you that extra versatility while playing games. On this controller though, you'll see that there are no back paddles, but instead we have those 2 extra shoulder buttons. And for somebody like myself who uses a claw grip, I actually much prefer this layout because when I hold a controller, how I hold it, I'll have my index fingers on the bumpers, middle fingers on the triggers, and then thumbs on the sticks. In this way, I actually have easy access to those extra buttons. I feel much more confident pressing between these two. I can press both of them at the same time if I'd like to. And I feel just a lot better using that layout as compared to using my ring finger or my pinky working on back paddles. If I could actually make one suggestion to all of the other major controller manufacturers, it would be to start implementing those additional shoulder buttons, just having them placed in that spot, and they're very easily programmable as well. We have the M button here, we'll press that alongside that extra button, and then choose the face button that you want it to mimic, press the button one more time, and then you have it mapped. So they're just really, really effective. And for me personally, they're much more comfortable than using back paddles. So I think really that they've nailed it with this design. While talking about the buttons though, one other thing that I want to highlight on the back of the controller here, you can see that we have these little switches here. You'll hear them click into place. What this does is I'll have full access to my trigger. If I move it over, we have a short stop trigger, not quite a hair trigger. It's not going to work like a tactical clicky mechanical key, but it is a very short stop. So if you are in an FPS game and you prefer having that hair trigger style of a controller, you'll get that here as well. Arguably the best feature of this controller though are the TMR thumbsticks, and although I don't understand the quantum level physics of how magnets make for better sticks, I do understand the obvious improvements that you can feel between these sticks and traditional potentiometers. I do think that it's important to note though that even though I think that these sticks come from Logitech, having tried the King Kong 3 Max, the difference between the TMR and the Hall effect joysticks, I can actually feel a difference. And when I used that Logitech controller, I had a lot of problems with it. But one of those major issues actually was that I ended up with stick drift, which seemed like something that wasn't actually possible with Hall effect sticks, but nonetheless was something that happened with me. With the TMR sticks, I have completely avoided that. So I just think that's an important thing to note. In terms of the thumbstick caps, you can see here that it's kind of a PlayStation style thumb cap. You have a little bit of convex and then concave combined together, which makes a semi-flat, but there's a little ridge around the rim. And I like that thumbstick, but kind of the best piece about this is, as you would have saw earlier in the video, I'm a big fan of KontrolFreeks. I use I think it's the Rush Close Quarters Combat. I don't even know what this one's called, but I use the little riser one on my left thumbstick for movement, and then I use the Close Quarters Combat Rush. I love this thumbstick. If you haven't tried this one out, absolutely can recommend it. I use this on my right thumbstick, and these are the PlayStation style ones, and they fit very snugly on these thumbsticks and work excellently. So talking about the shell now, it's made of just plastic, but it does feel nice to the touch. There's slight texturing to it. On the backside, you might have noticed that we have these rubber grips here. Overall though, the build quality of this controller, like I said, I bought it for under 25 Canadian dollars. When I compare this with like a DualSense Edge, they both have a pretty similar weight to them, I'd say. But this just feels a little bit more premium, if I'm honest with you guys. This controller also has macro and turbo settings. I'm not really going to go into that because I don't want to endorse cheaters, but if you're somebody that uses that in like a single player game, they do exist here if you're looking to use those. So now onto the battery life of the controller. There is a 1000 milliamp battery in here. And for me personally, it's performed really, really well. I've gotten about 8 hours to a charge, which for me, I think is very sufficient. The other main perk to this controller is that they have done an incredible job at making the button actuations very, very quiet. I know that for some people, when it comes to pro controllers, you guys want mechanical, almost mouse like clicks. But for me personally, I've always been a fan of having a quieter controller. That's why I enjoy the DualSense controllers in comparison to the Xbox controllers, just because pressing the buttons, it's quieter. I don't hear it as much. And so with that, they've just done such a good job because it does not feel mushy whatsoever. The actuation feels fantastic, if I'm completely honest with you, but the audio is so quiet. To demonstrate that, I'm going to stop talking quickly here and just show you guys what the controller sounds like. Starting off with the face buttons. Like I said at the beginning of the video, this controller retails for less than $25 Canadian, which is just absolutely absurd when you combine the premium feel of the controller with the tech that's packed in there. You have TMR6, you have full gyro, you have the extra 2 programmable buttons up top. It's just incredible value, and I think that it's really important to give a reference. So if that costs $25 and has all those features, and you compare it to a DualSense controller, this costs $90 Canadian before tax, meaning you're paying over $100 for this controller. When you compare the two, technically, this is so far superior. So it's just, I think it's important to kind of give you a side by side. As you can tell by the glowing review, I absolutely love this controller. And after 100+ hours of use, there really are no worrisome signs when it comes to durability. When I tried the Gully Kit controller, that was not the case for me. That controller was an absolute nightmare. I had to go through 2 of them. And even then, my additional buttons broke on both of them. Even the thumbsticks that were Hall effect sticks ended up with a little bit of drift within only like a month or 2. But with EasySMX 05X Pro, that has not been the case for me. I absolutely adore this controller, and I really can't recommend it to you guys enough. EasySMX, if you guys are watching, I know you're probably not, but hey, we're going to talk about it anyways. I have one suggestion for you, and that is to make a second model of this controller, but with PlayStation-oriented analogs. So rather than the offset analogs, have 2 symmetrical ones towards the inside of the controller. I would absolutely love to see that, and I know that a lot of other people would as well. If you guys have any questions at all about this controller, be sure to let me know down in the comments. And if you want to see more tech-oriented videos like this, be sure to check the playlist above and maybe think about subscribing. That's all I got for you guys this time around. Thanks again for checking it out. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.